Okay, Jeff Gordon has joined us. He drives the number 24 DuPont Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. He comes into New Hampshire 11th in points. Got 3 victories on the season. And Jeff, talk about now we're second race into the chase, and just about your outlook now as we get ready for New Hampshire on Sunday.
No, we're excited about this weekend. It's a great track for us. Have had a good day so far, so pretty happy with that, and hope to continue that. Obviously, the first race didn't go so well for us at Chicago, so we've got some work to do, and it's a great place for us to come to get that done. And look forward to the challenges that we're going to face over the next 9 weeks and what we're capable of doing.
Okay, we'll take some questions now for Jeff. If you have one, raise your hand, and we'll bring you the wireless mic. Go ahead, Brad, and then over to Ed.
Jeff, Brad Gilley, PRN. We're trying to get ahead of some of our stuff for Charlotte here in just a few weeks. And if I could ask you about the big TV on the back straightaway, maybe what your first reaction was when you saw that. Can you see it from inside the car? Do you ever look at it during the race or under caution?
It's so close to the track. At the angle is pretty difficult to see much. I mean, it doesn't stop me from trying to see it. Anytime there's a screen around a racetrack that you can glance at, whether it's a replay or, not obviously during green flag runs, but under caution, then you're going to take a look at it, whether it's a scoring pylon or a TV screen. But it didn't affect, as bright as it is, as big as it is, it didn't affect me in the race. I hardly noticed that it was there, so that was the good part. But I was unbelievably impressed from pit road, looking back at it. And the detail, that HD and how large it is unbelievably impressive.
Go ahead, Ed.
Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. Jeff, having been a victim like so many of the fuel mileage situation last week, if memory serves, this race here last year turned out to be a fuel mileage race too. Do you expect that Sunday might be yet another fuel mileage cliffhanger, and also do you think this is going to become a growing concern through the chase, and is it good for racing in its image, for NASCAR?
I think as long as the race is exciting and is interesting, then it's good. It doesn't matter whether it's a 2-tire stop, a 4-tire stop, or fuel mileage. They all create drama and challenges for us as competitors. So, you win them however you can win them. It's definitely, something we've talked a lot about all year long, about how to save fuel. And we were just too far short last week. We probably, would have done it a little bit different. If we had to do it over again, I guess maybe a lot of people would. But, we didn't have good fuel mileage in general, which Hendrick Motorsports make a lot of power right now, and we, getting good fuel mileage is not a plus for us. But Junior was able to do it, and so there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to as well. And so we had a lot of discussions about that this week, and this track very easily could come down to fuel mileage. So we're going to try to do everything that we can this weekend to get a little bit better fuel mileage. And also to have a good race car. To me, the last time we were here, it was won on fuel mileage, but it was still won by a car that was running up front.
And also, earlier today, the drivers that we had, some would talk to varying degrees about their techniques for saving fuel, that sort of thing. Kevin Harvick just flat out said, yeah, right, and just wouldn't say anything about it. Is this becoming something with each unit, each team, that you all have your specific secrets, and is that getting to be as big of a set of secrets and complex set of things as, say, setups and that sort of thing?
Well, one of the things, in our meeting that we went over this week, you can only save so much. I don't care how hard you try, what your technique is, you can only save so much. You got to have pretty decent fuel mileage to begin with, to push the limits. But it's a number of factors. I mean, it's getting the fuel cell full on the stop. not having any air in there, and making sure that you got it all in there. And then it's, being smooth as a driver, and then, whether it's clutching it, shutting it off, or just backing the corner up and slowing the pace down. There's a lot of different ways you can go about it. But, one of the things we're doing now is when we go test, we try out all those things to see which one works best. And we felt like we were doing the one that works best last week. But like I said, we really were banking on a caution. We didn't really want to have to go all the way. We pretty much knew we were going to be short. And once we got to that point, you might as well just run it out. Coming down pit road and refueling doesn't even do you any good. You lose just as much time doing that. So about the only thing I would have done different last week was not come down pit road with the engine not running and not knowing my pit road speed. They docked me a lap last week because I came down pit road too fast. Because I didn't have a tack and I didn't know what my speed was. I was pretty sure I was speeding. Would have been better off just rolling around and coasting across the start-finish line. We would have probably gained maybe three or four spots.
Let's go with Claire and then to Lewis.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Hate to pull a certain part out of and make too much a radio conversation because sometimes it's only a small part of the race. Some of your fans called yesterday and they were breaking down the part where you were talking about saving fuel or not, and how difficult the communication is when you're trying to figure out, are you supposed to save and how much? And it seemed like there was a long conversation about that. Is that just typical amongst the teams, or were you guys...
Yeah, it's typical crew chiefs. They're like, save fuel, but don't give up that spot. Okay, a little slower. Oh, but yeah, you don't want to go too slow. I mean, that's just how crew chiefs are, and it's a tough position to be in if you're a crew chief. But it's as a driver, you're doing what you're told. I mean, when they know how short you are, they know how much you have to save, and we're getting so much better now at recognizing, where we need to lift, or whatever our technique is and how much we can save with that in place. Now, even with all that said, so they're giving you instructions, but at the same time, if the caution had come out, you don't want to give up all those spots. So it's a difficult position to be in, and those were the conversations we were having. It was, do you want me to save or not save? Yes, save. And so I start backing off. Well, do you want me to race this guy? Yes, race him. So I can tell you, I didn't do the best job of saving that I could have done, but I still don't think we would have made it. We might have been able to get another lap out of it, but we still were not going to make it. So, I think as a team we learned, what we could have done better.
Let's go with Lewis.
Lewis, Frank Reuters. Yep, leads the next question. As a driver, what's more stressful to you, running at the limit when you're going for the pole, or running for the win and being told save fuel? What gives you more stress?
No, definitely. Running towards in the. I mean, in qualifying, if you don't get the pole, it's not the end of the world. But. Yeah, but I mean, that to get the car, to go fast under qualifying, you make several mock qualifying runs in practice. You get a pretty good idea of the grip level and what your car is doing, even though it might be a little bit different out there. And you have to push really hard, but you push to the limit, and the key to getting on the pole is not to hit anything, So. Kind of where those limits are when it's coming, and even though you might get it out of shape a little bit, you're anticipating it. Where, when you're trying to save fuel, you have no idea where exactly and when you're going to run out. You're doing all you can. You're hoping their numbers are wrong. That you got a little bit more left in the tank than you really do, and especially when the win is on the line. You're trying to judge the speed of the cars behind you, your own speed, and you're trying to stretch something that is not an optimal situation to be in. I'd much rather be going for the pole.
Let's go to Reed right here, front row. We'll go Mike Harris and then Mike Mulhern.
Reed Spencer with Sporting News. Jeff, you raced against Dale Earnhardt and got to know him pretty well. Just overall, and I know it's hard to sum up in a few words, but what were the things about him that impressed you the most, and what about him made him the racer that he was?
Well, you never counted Dale out. You know, it didn't matter what kind of day they were having. He was just such a fighter, and they were a great team where, you know, they could be a lap or 2 laps down, and by the end of the race, they were in the top 10, you know, or maybe even top 5. So that's just the way, you know, Dale was. He you know, he got everything out of it that was capable. You know, throughout every race, throughout every season. You know, he was a tough guy. I mean, you know, everybody knows about the situation from, what was it, Talladega to Watkins Glen, you know, where he sat on the pole, where nobody would have expected him to sit on the pole in a healthy situation at a road course, you know, like Watkins Glen. I don't think anybody anticipated that, but to do it injured like he did was impressive. You know, as a 7-time champion, you have to respect that, and I definitely saw the attributes that he brought to the table to make him that. You know, I also recognize how good your team has to be, but to me, it was more what he did, you know, off the track, the focus that he had on the business, and maybe some of the distractions and things that he had going on, starting a team, the merchandising business, hunting or his farm or whatever it may be, and then to be able to still go to the racetrack and do his job well. You know, those were definitely things that impressed me.